Hello everyone and welcome! As many of you may know, a couple weeks back I attended Beat the Creek, which is a RC crawler event held in Maysville, Kentucky. This was an awesome event that I covered in a recent video, and it was an all-around great time. There's miles of awesome trails and some very challenging sections to really put your rig to the test. One thing, or I guess technically 4 things that I certainly wanted to put to the test were these brand new 3D printed Beadlock wheels. Just a few days before I went to Beat the Creek, I decided to upgrade my cheapest crawler in the USA Toyota 4Runner with some new wheels and tires. I used this opportunity to design and 3D print some custom Beadlock style wheels. It took a little experimenting along the way, but I had something that I thought might work, and it definitely looked pretty cool if nothing else. So did the 4Runner beat the creek? Well, mostly. I actually cut the trail short because of time and energy. I had ran quite a few trails before Trail 1, which is where the creek was, so I didn't complete it fully from start to finish, but from what I did do, the truck did pretty well. I also took the truck out to some local spots, which is the footage that you're seeing here, for some more testing. So the truck stayed in one piece, which is good. Something sounds a little crunchy or clicky when the truck coasts, but I can't quite pinpoint the location, so I'll see if it gets any worse. The ESC popped off at one point, which I reattached with some double-sided tape, so hopefully that holds. The tires did stay on for all except 2 instances where the bead actually came off. One time partially and another time fully. I thought they would be on there tight enough for this to not happen, but fortunately each time I could just force the bead back in the wheel, so it didn't slow me down too much. The performance in general seemed okay. Some spots it did really well, while others it really struggled more than what I thought it should. Among other things, I'm wondering if adding just a bit of weight to the wheels might have helped in a few situations. But really, all in all, it's not bad, and it even surprised me a few times. But today I'm going to be taking what I've learned and make a few improvements to the wheel design. First though, I will need to take everything apart. To cut down on the amount of plastic used, I'm going to be reusing the wheel and beadlock, even though I do think there's some room for improvement there, but I am going to be designing and printing a new insert piece. I need this piece to clamp down tighter on the tire, and I'd like to have the ability to have some lead weights glued to it to increase the weight of each wheel. These 3D printed wheels are pretty light, especially compared to the ones that I removed from the truck, so it will be interesting to see what kind of difference increasing the weight will make. I made a few tweaks to the design, as you can see, hoping that it would grab the tire tighter than before, but also not make the tire too much of a pain to install. I have quite a few of these lead weights on hand, so these are what I'm going to be using to increase the weight of each wheel. I measured these weights and created some little flat sections around the outside that are just large enough to fit these weights in these sections. With these changes made, I printed the first one and did a quick test fit. It feels snug and definitely stronger than before, but whether or not it will be enough to keep the tire on when driving on the trails, well, that's something I won't know till I drive this truck. I went ahead and printed the remaining wheel inserts, then glued some lead weights to each one. I figured hot glue might be nice since it's a pretty strong hold while also drying very quick. With the weights now on, I reassembled each wheel. They're a little harder to put together than before, but still not too bad. Here's a quick weight comparison between these new wheels and the steel wheels that I removed. Neither of these wheels are super heavy, but I'm hoping that the bit of extra weight that I've added to these 3D printed wheels will make a difference over not having the weights installed at all. Now, I did go back and make a few design tweaks to both the wheel insert and the wheel itself after installing these ones here. I sort of took what I learned and made a few minor tweaks to hopefully make them even better for any of you who might want to 3D print a set of your own. The biggest thing I did was being that I keyed the insert to the wheel with some slots so it can't rotate. I figured that if the tire starts to slip on the wheel, maybe not allowing that insert piece to rotate with it will be helpful. Just a thought, not sure how big of a difference it will make, but this new version of the wheel has been posted on Patreon if you'd like to 3D print one of these wheels for yourself. Obviously no dramatic change here, and it's not like what I had before was terrible, but here's a little update for all of you who are wondering how these wheels held up and what I've done to make them better. Honestly, at this point, if I continue to have any issues with the tires slipping off, I'd probably just use a little tire glue to help keep them on. I'll be getting this 4Runner back on the trail soon and seeing how it performs, but for now, that's going to be all for today's video. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.